everybody. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Hello.
Now, if you're watching this and you're like, where did Mr. Bonagor go? Well, and why are we in the same room? And what's going on? And why is it at 9:26 a.m.?
What is happening today?
Do-do-do-do-do.
The evil tech gods have besmirched. That's not a thing, is it? Yeah, sure. Evilness, techie.
Smoked.
So I've been smoted.
Smitten.
No, that's different.
I've been smitten. Okay, so so we had some technical problems with Skype and Ecamm, our two programs we use, usually work together well, did not work.
Not today.
So unfortunately, our guest will have to come back next time. Mr. Bonagor is sadly relegated to, well, next time also.
Yes.
However, we're in the same studio, so we're going to do Board Game Breakfast here. A few changes have been made on the fly, but we have some announcements, first of all. The Jack Vassell Memorial Fund auction is live. So we run this every spring, and it just went live 20 minutes ago or so. This is on Board Game Geek. You can find a link at Board Game Geek on our Facebook page. I'm going to be putting it on the Dice Tower website soon. I don't know why I keep flipping this cube. Well, I was going to use it to see how much time we took in our games.
Play with that. What? You're clearly fidgety.
Thank you.
Keep going.
All right. Anyhow,
I mean, I love that whenever it goes live, I love looking through it. There's so many neat stuff on there.
Right. There's only a couple pages of things there now, so we're asking people to come in and add stuff. We give a giant box of games. You can see pictures of what we did last year, and all the money donated goes straight to the fund. So you can put something up. Somebody, let's say I put up a new copy of Ark Nova. Z bids $80 and wins it. That $80 goes to the Jack Vassell Fund. I send the game to Z.
Yep.
That's how it works. So you can go there and add things to the site, the list. You can go bid on things, but most importantly, go out and tell everybody about it. So that is the Jack Vassell Memorial Fund auction. We'll try to mention it. It's lasting. Actually, let me look here. It's going to last until April 2nd. So that sounds like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, right?
That is
24,
weeks.
31, 2 weeks. A little more than 2 weeks. So, go bid a lot, bid now, bid often, whatever the words are. And all this money goes to helping people in their time of need. And I think there's some different things on the page, and we have testimonials that we add at certain points of people who've been helped by it. You can also contribute. Someone asked in the chat, can you contribute directly to the Jack Vassell Memorial Fund? Yes, you can go to jackvassell.org and do that if you want to. Okay, so that is that. Secondly, Dice Tower East is still open. So a couple notes on this. First, Dice Tower Retreat registration is opening up next week. Watch our site and things for the exact time. And I mean that seriously because it's almost full already.
Yeah.
We're only putting up a few spots. You get it next week or you don't get it. But Dice Tower East, there are plenty of spots left for that. That's July 6th to 10th. So come on out for that. A reminder that if you want to be a volunteer for that, let us know. Just email me at tom@dicetower.com, and we will do that. Also, the hotel block is almost full for Dice Tower East, so you better back that.
Yeah, reserve your room. They're going.
Alrighty, so that is, I think, our announcements. Dice Tower East, Dice Tower Retreat, Jack Vassell Memorial Fund. It's Happy St. Patrick's Day. We're very green.
Green.
Maybe Skype was like, no green people allowed.
You think so? No. Maybe. Well, Bonagor was wearing no green. That might have been it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Only green allowed. Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, let's get started with some contributors, and then we'll be back for, I don't know what we're coming back for. I'm going to find out very soon.
I don't know either.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, we are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
Today we're talking about Fossilist. This is a game all about digging up fossils. You actually have tons and tons of these little bone pieces, and they are buried underneath a whole bunch of rocks and sand and clay tiles that you have to get rid of in order to get down into the bones. You're also trying to put all these different bones together in order to fulfill these recipes and build these skeletons of these dinosaurs. It has some fantastic bits, and honestly, it's really, really cool, but too, that whole Jurassic Park theme really gets to me.
All right, as you guys like to know, sometimes Ryan and I like to talk about things we're doing to try and achieve better health in our life. And like Fossilist, sometimes you have to go back to the beginning. What were things I was doing when I was at my healthiest? Or what's something small that I can do that's really basic, like back at the beginning? And something for me that always works when I've gotten out of shape to get back in shape is just simply walking. So simple, just like 5-10 minutes a day, and just gradually build on that as you can.
For one thing, this game has this action selection board that is very, very clear, easy to use, easy to understand. There is some pushing and moving of the sand that you can do to try to dig through the things. That's a little bit more complicated. You can't push a sand because it's not as heavy as the rock that might be behind it. Things like that. There's little rules to remember, which makes it a little bit confusing. But ultimately, once you remove the sand or the stone or the clay or whatever, you get to get down in there with these tweezers, dig out whatever the bones are that you need to fulfill these recipes, and that has a great toy factor.
I really like how the setup for this game did a great job of randomizing it without you knowing anything that was happening, which you didn't think. Well, when I first saw it, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm going to know what's ever in any of these holes. You do not know what's in any one of these holes.
You have to become a true paleontologist.
Yeah, this was a really fun one, and we enjoyed it. If you guys want to hear more from us, make sure to find us on Facebook or YouTube. We are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. For everybody, this is Ryan. I'm Bethany, hoping you have a happy, healthy breakfast. Bye
everybody.
guys.
Hi, I'm Jordan, and here I want to talk about a game that's great to play on a weeknight. Everybody knows about Kramer and Kiesling if you've been around the hobby for a while. One of their newer games from last year, I believe, is Savannah Park. This is in Capstone's family line, which is the same line that Juicy Fruits was in. And this is a spatial puzzle game in which you're going to have this hex board, and you're going to have all of these tiles with animals on the hex board. And then you use kind of a bingo mechanic in which one person's going to pick a tile, and you're going to pick a specific tile that everybody else has on there. Everybody has the same tiles. So I say the 2 giraffes, I flip the 2 giraffe tile over and put it somewhere else on my board. Everybody else is going to take their 2 giraffe tile and put it somewhere else on your board. And you're trying to get groups of animals to congregate in different areas of your board near these watering holes. So you're going to have these tiles that have 2 different animals on them, and you're trying to get them next to both like tribes of these animals in order for them to score both of them. So you're just some jockeying for position. You're trying to make sure that you are maximizing the placement of those tiles, but somebody might call a tile that you didn't want right away. So really interesting spatial puzzle with the other people around the table. Almost has a Tiny Towns cadence to it where you're doing that bingo mechanic where other people are choosing things, and then you have that spatial puzzle that you're trying to maximize as well. So really interesting. I wish it looked a little better. It feels a little prototypey in some places, but I think ultimately this is a really solid game that I enjoy playing with my family and with, on a weeknight. It's not too difficult, and it's a pretty interesting kind of puzzle to engage yourself with. So Savannah Park, I keep holding it sideways. I'm Jordan. Thanks.
This is a segment where we take a look at a board game based on an IP, and I tell you the IP and the mechanisms match. Today we're looking at The Warriors Come Out and Play. So in the movie and the game, you're running from the park and getting all the way through the town into Coney Island before people beat you up. In this game, you're going to be having fights at intervals in the game, but also something that can come up because you're making too much threat. And you're going to be rolling the dice and mitigating the dice in order to meet certain criteria to defeat these guys so your reputation doesn't get too low and you can continue to move on towards where you want to be, which is the final showdown in Coney Island. This is exactly the plot from the game and the movie. That's a total win for us. This game is a lot about hand management. You don't want to spend all your cards. So you can roll up to 5 dice. Each card may give you a dice. But you might need a 4, so you don't want to use all of the dice to get there. Maybe you try to risk it with only 2 dice so you can keep those cards in your hand. There's weapons to manage. There's going to be cards in your hand to manage. You can't, when the fight's over, you just don't pick everything up. There's certain locations that will allow you to pick it up. There's a city stage where you're moving through the city, and it's one of those things like Igizia or Francis Drake where you can move down the path and get what you want, but you can't go back. So you got to kind of be weary of what you're picking up and how far you want to go. There's a constant threat from the bopper that people are going to be aware of what you're out at and start fights with you. Fights will drain your hand and possibly your reputation, which is your goal to not lose the game. If you get to Coney Island and you're able to win the last fight against whichever gang has the most reputation, you are able to survive and clear your name that you didn't do the murder that happened in Act 1 of the movie. So the IP and the mechanisms really do fit together well with this one. I feel like they took the IP and they said, what can we build around it? Rather than having a bunch of mechanisms and saying, okay, let's slap this on it. This really does go through the movie, and you feel like you're running through the town and having these fights with these random gangs. The dice mitigation works in this combat phase, and we've been down this road before with combat. I'm talking about just if the IP and the mechanisms work together, and I think they do. So for me, that's a big plus.
All right, everybody, welcome back to 20 Questions. Tom, I picked a game that has now gone to sleep. There we go. I have a game picked out, Tom.
Tree blocks.
You have 20 questions to try to get this right. Maybe fewer than 20. But the only questions you can ask are A, yes or no questions, and B, questions that the audience asks of you.
I can see their chat.
All right, you can see their chat. You can only pick theirs. After every question, you must then choose to reveal one of these. You'll set one aside no matter what. But you can choose to reveal it or not reveal it, okay? These are going to have numbers on them. If the total gets to 20, then you are done asking questions and have one final guess.
Okay.
The reason you might reveal some is because some of them are TNT bombs, or you can eliminate one of them. But also for every 2 that you pass by, I'm going to look at both of these, and I get to add the lower to the running total. You got that?
I do not.
Okay,
but I think I'm close enough.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's being worshipped. Okay? It'll be great. You'll see.
All right, 20 questions. Chat, give me some questions to ask. This is about a game.
It's about a game,
They have to be
obviously.
they have to be yes or no, you said?
Yes or no questions. That's correct.
That's harder than it was before.
What do you mean? No, it's always yes or no questions.
I think I was able to say, what's the publisher, remember?
That's different. That's when somebody else gets to listen to you and then use that information against you with a guess.
Oh, that's right.
This is just you. That would be very easy. All right.
Oh, yeah, so you can see behind me the likes. You can see how many likes people have done. If you click like, it might go up. Anyway, so
3,
I need
6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
I need some questions from the audience. No one has given me. Okay, all right. This is from Bill. Bill, I guess we can stick these questions on the screen too.
Bill
says, does it involve dice?
Blam! No, it does not involve dice.
All right, so I get to pick which card to flip?
You get to pick one, or you can set one aside.
No, I'll flip one.
Okay?
4 is bad, right?
4 is bad. My running total is 4.
All right. Oh, go back up a little bit, Roy. Let's do that.
No dice. That's what you know so far.
Dr. Jam Band 1 has been published in the last 5 years. So let's be clear on that. So that would be 22, 21, 20, 19, and 18.
No.
Ooh. I'll turn over another one. I'll turn over this one. A 3. That's terrible. You said there's 1s in here, right?
There are 1s, and 5 of these are bombs.
Okay. I'm not going to ask that question. I got it. Oh, that's...
Does it involve squids? Would be a good one.
What kind of question is that? No, I'm not going to ask if it came out in the last 3 years. It says it came out in the last 5. Don't try to trick me.
Yeah, but the answer was no, so maybe.
No. Okay, I'll ask Check Razor 76 question there. Does it come in a Ticket to Ride sized box? Just flip it to another side.
What's going on? I'm going to say, yes. Yes.
Okay, I like it. Yes, that's a good answer. I now know the game.
Flip one.
1. Woo!
All right, I am at 8.
8's fine. 20 questions. My ball. I know 20 questions. This would be like 16 questions or something.
No, you're going to get some the TNT maybe.
It's not going to be 20.
It's not going to be 20, but you're not going to need
This game
20.
should just be called questions.
Okay, maybe.
All right, let me see.
So no dice, Ticket to Ride size box about, not from 2018 or newer.
All right, I'll ask Hoju's question. Does it play more than 4 players? Which means, does it possible, without expansions, go over 4 players?
Yes.
Okay, that actually narrows it down some.
Flip it.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about that part of the game. Bomb! All right, I'm at 10. Halfway.
I love it.
4 out of 20 questions.
So far, 4 out of 20. You're not doing well.
I am not. That's a good question. We'll ask Bibliomania's question. Does the game have a number in the title?
No.
That was not a good question.
Flip it.
Dynamite! What does that do? I kill one?
Yeah, you kill one.
Anyone?
Yeah, anyone.
Not the last one done?
No. That's,
All right, so we're
okay,
back.
well, maybe it shouldn't work, but it works right now.
All right. Some of these questions are very specific.
I love it.
Like Malcolm's question, is it more fun than the game you're currently playing?
That's a solid yes. I'll give you that one for free.
I'll ask William's questions, but I don't like it. All right.
Oh,
Is it
okay.
in Board Game Geek's top 100?
No.
Good. So we took out 100 games and left me with
Several thousand.
20,000 plus
Yes.
games.
Yes, you did. Go ahead, flip it.
Oh, another 4. Back to 10.
There you go.
All right, let's see. Oh, Saclaria says, does it have worker placement? That's the purple one at the very bottom, Roy.
Does it have worker placement? It does not have worker placement.
You know, I would like a yes once in this game.
Okay, well, you're eliminating a lot of things.
TNT! Yeah!
All right, good. Also, I should have mentioned if this total also gets to 20, that's impossible. The total is 35, so it's impossible, I think.
All right, I'll ask Gary Johns. Says, does it have 1 or more expansions?
Does it have 1 or more expansions? Yes, it does.
You know, here's the problem. I don't have this narrowed down
You gotta
at
flip
all.
it. I'm sorry.
Boom!
Look at that.
Dynamite!
Okay. Okay.
Maybe this will actually get to 20. I'm doing this because it makes me feel better.
Yeah, you should do that.
All right, I'll ask Check Razor 76. Is the title one word?
Yes. The title is one word. That's good.
No, I get it. 2.
All right.
I get it. It's just that I don't feel like I've narrowed it down at all.
I definitely think you can do it.
Do you?
Oh yeah. You're on this thing's heels.
Oh, okay. I'm going to ask a version of Kevlar TM's.
Well, you better ask exactly what that says. No, go ahead. That's
Has it been played at any conventions recently? I'll say, have you seen it played at a convention recently? Does that Dice Tower West?
no. That's a bad question.
I don't think it is, actually, because that narrows it down of, like, basically we're saying it's not a hot game.
It's not a hot game.
Because
It's also not from the last 5 years. That you should have known that.
yeah, but there's still those games. Boom, dynamite! I'm blowing up the one. That's how cocky I am.
Okay.
I hope that doesn't come back to
I
bite.
don't know yet. We'll find out when the rules finish solidifying.
This is a game that Z thought up in 5 minutes. This is how awesome this game is.
Yes. Okay. This is 5-minute garbage. You heard of 5-minute dungeon?
All right, I'll ask Smallville 79's game. He's Clark Kent. Does the game involve space? And by that we mean outer space. Don't be stupid.
It does not involve space.
Is that what this evil genie like?
I know.
5? Why is there a dude on that one?
That one is the particularly bad one.
I'm back up to 9.
You're back up to 9.
All right, Michael Ashley says, is it a card game? And by that, you and I both know what that means.
Yes, it is not a card game. You're getting a lot of no's. You're not
I am
wrong.
getting a lot of no's. But I'm only
You're
up to
at
10.
You're at 10.
How many dynamites did I get? 4?
You've gotten 3, 4 so far. There's only 1 left.
So I got to be careful here.
Yeah.
How many numbers did I eliminate? What's the total I've eliminated?
8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
And you said there's 35 total?
35 total.
Yeah, I got this. Bad rules.
Well, there's another rule I haven't revealed yet.
There's also, I'm nowhere
There's at
close to
the
guessing
end,
the
the
game.
cards you have and the ones you've eliminated, we're going to play a trick-taking game.
Loopy, good
with
question.
these.
Loopy, good question. Is it in the Dice Tower library that you know of?
Yes.
All right. 1. I got a yes. I'll be right back. I need to go to the bathroom.
That's going to be a while, Tom.
Oh, let's see.
That's a funny question. Is the publisher owned by Asmodee? Woof.
All right. Jeffo says, does the game take more than 60 minutes to play?
The list of time says 20 to 40. I don't think that's right. It's a little longer than that. About 60, maybe a little longer.
You should say the 5 can't be killed by dynamite.
Well, that's why it's a dude.
We're workshopping here.
Yeah.
It's a co-design.
No, yeah.
20 questions from Zico
I'll give
C
you
and Tom
credit.
Vassell.
I'll give you credit on that. You're
Coming
also
to Kickstarter.
You're out of TNT now.
All right.
All right. What do we got?
Eliam, is it co-op? Is it co-op?
It is not cooperative, no.
I assume not because of the 5 years thing, but all right. So I'm at 11. Oh, that's interesting, but that doesn't really narrow it down. Someone give me something that has to do with like theming or mechanisms, because I'm not going to get it from. We've asked so many general questions.
There's a lot you know.
Sure, but there's so much I
There's
don't
a lot
know.
you've eliminated, but you haven't narrowed it down, have
I
you?
have not narrowed it down. So, it's does the game,
The game really exists.
That's interesting, Aaron. I don't know if I want to ask that though. I'm looking for something like that narrows it down. We know it's not space. All right, I'll ask Tara's question. Is it fantasy themed?
No.
Okay. All right, but that was good. Again, we're narrowing it down. Let me see here. Did the rules appear to be made up on the spot like some sort of improv exercise? I believe that was Chris Yee who said that.
I recognize that logo. That's from inside the house. The call is coming from inside the house.
Is that you, Roy?
Or that might be Mike also. Either way, I will find them. And I will use my special set of skills
All right,
to force them to
Mourner
play an improv game with me.
wants to know, is it Egyptian themed?
Egyptian themed. It is not Egyptian themed. You've gotten a lot of no's. Flip it. What are we at?
We are at 5.
6, 7, 8, 9,
10,
10, 11,
15, 16.
16.
There's definitely a 4 left in there.
16 is what you're at. What happens if you get to 20?
That's my question to you.
I'm asking you. You remember what I said?
You said I get one final guess, and that's
You get
it.
one guess. If you never make it to 20, though, you have one game guess per tile here. That was definitely a rule in the original. You're going to need all the help you can get, clearly.
All right. Don King, is there miniatures in the game?
Define miniatures.
Little plastic thing. Is there plastic depictions of buildings and or humans?
Buildings and or humans, no.
All right, I'm going to start guessing.
Okay.
So I got 8 guesses?
Boy, you have to get through these.
I don't want to go through them. You said I could stop and guess.
No, you crazy? You got to go through these. Otherwise, you might not get to 20. You could literally never always stop.
Yeah, but then I can't ask yes or no's. I can only guess the game name at this point.
Oh, okay, sure. We'll go with that. Go
All
ahead.
right, so here we go. Some guesses that fit in all those categories.
Okay, go.
I'll go Elysium.
No.
That was all I had. all right. What's that game called? Zit It, Lords of Zit It.
No.
Okay. I'm trying to think of games with plastic pieces
You're
that are
thinking of
not.
something slightly more rare than this is, like more obtuse.
I'm trying to think of games that don't have plastic, that have plastic things that are not buildings and or
people.
And that
does
actually
help.
narrows it down a lot. Actually.
If you knew the theme of this, you'd be there.
Yes. Well, it's also Elysium has those little plastic pillars. That's why I thought.
Yeah. I would have said no. I still guess would have said no on that. Yeah. Like, if you knew the theme of this game, you'd have it right now.
Sure.
It is a real world setting.
Deception, Murder in Hong Kong.
No.
Because it has bullets in it. All right. Let's see here. You wouldn't have picked that because no, it's not. That's cooperative, so that can't be that one. Downforce. Yeah, that's a good one. Woo! But put his name up on there. That's Kevin Wallace. Kevin Wallace. Wow!
You win a brand new prototype of 20 questions? Question mark. Well, send us your address and
Wow! What made you think I would not have guessed Downforce?
Come on, man. It was so easy.
That was very impressive. I just randomly picked one off the thing there.
That's a good call. Downforce was right, Tom. Congratulations, but really congratulations to, was it Kevin?
Yeah. Very impressive.
Well done.
All right. Whew. That very stressful game.
Very good.
Let's go to some contributors. Give us a thumbs up meanwhile and see if it comes back at higher than 48 when we're done. And we'll be back in a minute.
Hey there, my name's Jonna, and I like to look at games from an environmentalist perspective. So today we're going to be checking out a game called Emergency Broadcast. This was published by Bicycle Games and it came out in 2021. It's a tile placement game for 2 to 4 players and it's themed around the idea of being a first responder during a flood. I really liked this game and it got high marks for its puzzle tile placement gameplay, for the way that the game escalates as the rounds go by. It's not too long or short, and it's also not too complicated or too simple. There's really fun decisions to make throughout the entire game. I've been sharing it with lots of different people and it's been a hit with everyone. So this game has a ton of cheap plastic in, more than I've seen in a really long time. However, it still gets 2 eco-friendly stars. One is because they reduced single-use plastic by opting out of shrink wrap and using stickers to hold the lid closed. The other star is because Cartamundi, which owns Bicycle, has a really great sustainability statement. However, all of their sustainable practices and initiatives seem to relate mostly to the EU, and I'm not really sure how it pertains to this game that was manufactured in China by Bicycle. I'm always happy to see brands talking about environmental concerns, but I hope in the future that Cartamundi's products will reflect their environmental concerns a little bit more. So this game isn't currently available on any of Bicycle's websites, which is unfortunate. I hate to think of any copies of this game going to waste. I'd recommend checking out your friendly local game store and see if they can get you a copy. It's likely they'll be able to. I hope you guys have a great morning, and I'll see you in the next one.
Hello, Proti here, your remaining content creator, and today I will continue my series where I will talk about a specific part of a game, and today we will talk about Sagrada. Sagrada is a family game where you have dice drafting and dice placement. You place your die in your window. The window that you have has a specific number of places, so to say, and you place your first die somewhere on the border, and from there you have some placement rules. You cannot put something directly adjacent, so diagonally it's allowed, of the same color and the same number, and the die that you place next has to be adjacent diagonally too, so this is the difference here, to something that is already placed in your window. And you have to do this puzzle, draft dice, place them, and so on and so forth, to get as many points as possible from your private objective, which is related to a color, and the public objectives, which is different from game to game, and everybody has access to it. And another thing that people have access to is those helper cards that have this back. And these helper cards are helping you during the game to, for example, move dice, which is not allowed, to ignore some restrictions which are either on the window, because the windows are having some different restrictions to already printed on them, and you get some different transparent pieces that you can use for those, depending on how hard the window is. And the one helper card that I wanted to talk about is the one which is giving you the possibility to not place adjacent one die. And so you use this helper card by placing a transparent piece on it, or two if it's already used, and you have the possibility to place a die not adjacent to what you placed already. And this is giving you a lot of opportunities, opening up the puzzle so that you are not restricted just to those few spaces adjacent to what you played already. You have then another whole area that you can place dice of. And then I think this is an interesting and helpful one if it's coming up, but every game it's another other helper cards coming up. But if this one is on the table, I find it really helpful and really interesting to use, and early to use, so that you get more options at the beginning. Yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about Sagrada. Have a nice breakfast.
All right, welcome to Dice Tower News. Let's take a look at the news this week. Now, I'm assuming there's a lot of news that's coming out live. This is the week of Gamma Trade Show.
Right.
So that's the Game and Manufacturing Association trade show, and there's a lot of news that's announced during that time frame. Mm-hmm. So there's things that are also being leaked there, I guess. Like they're showing new games. So some of the stuff we don't have yet, just because there's no reliable source that's there shooting out news. Because we're not there.
That sounded terrible.
It did really sound. No.
We're not there, so we are getting a trickle-down effect, is what we're saying.
Actually, Corey is there.
We have no one good there. So...
No, what I meant was, and I don't mean this in any negative way, nobody is there actually like streaming out news from it. I'm not saying that there's no reliable, there's like nobody is streaming news from it.
Corey's there.
Corey's there, but he's getting the news for later.
And it is not good, it's just not good. I mean, Corey, I don't want to sound negative, but Corey's doing a terrible job.
No, he's not. All right. By the way, if you want news and you want to get a podcast every week on a Dice Tower Now, subscribe to that. Corey does the news every week. It's a great way to find out what's going on in the industry.
Who does it? I'm kidding. I love Corey. Come on, man. Let's look at some news.
All right.
Here we go.
Flat River Group acquires Luma Imports and Synopsis Games. Now, Flat River Group seems like they're trying to make a play to become a pretty big distributor of board games. We've already seen them. They got Yellow.
Right. Yeah, they were in our news recently for the same thing, an acquisition.
Getting Luma is not bad. Luma includes Horrible Guild, Bombix, who used to be Asmodee, Sit Down, and Holy Grail. That's a lot. That's a lot of games. There's no like huge game maybe coming from there. Although I know that is it Horrible Guild that has that little card game that's selling a ton, where you guess who the person is by flipping. Similo.
Yeah.
I know that one's doing really well.
Yeah.
I've heard it's like selling in the hundreds of thousands.
And they have a bunch of themes already, and you can mix and match them. Yeah, that one's like a spotted type game.
Synopsis Games is a smaller company. They did Coital, which you like, or Coatl.
Coatl, yeah.
And Beta and Draw the Line. So this is interesting. Let's see how this progresses as we go on. All right, games. So we have Leviathan Wilds. This is from a new company, Mooncrabs. And this was really interesting because I'm reading directly from what their press release says. They said, a group of designers from Z-Man and Fantasy Flight Games have gotten together and formed Mooncrab Games, led by designer Justin Kempinen. I don't know who that is.
Okay.
These former Pandemic Love Letter and Imperial Salt contributors have announced the first title, which is this Leviathan Wilds. It's a cooperative adventure game. When I first read that, it sounded negative, except I think this company is being distributed by or working with Asmodee. It's like a positive thing, but it sounded like a bunch of people left Asmodee.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
That's what it sounded like when I first read the press release. Also, this seems to be a thing now. We saw Corey Kinaska leave and start his own company. We saw other people leave and like, oh, we're going to work on our own companies. Like Asmodee, I think this is something that just happens. Everyone worries that Asmodee is going to buy everything.
Right.
Which they are buying a lot of stuff. But as they buy it, things pop off, start their own companies.
And it does
That's
seem
just how
like,
the hobby works.
It does seem like folks coming out of those Asmodee companies will have the clout and the ability to start their own company.
Right.
Not everybody can just start their own company, you know, but you being able to name drop, I worked for Asmodee or I worked for this studio, seems to carry some weight to then start your own thing, do your own productions. And I love that logo.
Also, this game is clearly based on that video game where you climb up the giant creatures and fight them. Oh, what's that called?
A video game where you climb giant... Oh, Monster Hunter?
Not Monster Hunter. It's there's these huge monsters and you climb up them and fight them. Like each monster is a level in the game.
God of War 3.
No, it's not God of War 3. Someone will say it in chat.
Is it the one with the giant dog and the whatever? That one? Eco or something like that? One of those?
No. Anyway, I think they said it in Shadow of the Colossus. Never mind, it's mentioned right here in the thing.
Shadow of the Colossus, right.
Yeah, and Shadow of the Colossus. All right. Thank you. And Michael said that right there. All right. Shadow of the Colossus. Anyway, from what I understand, it's based on that concept.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Looks cool.
Then we have the Terry Gilliam game, Brazil. No, that's a movie, right?
That is definitely a movie. Brazil.
This is not based on that movie at all. This is Brazil Imperial.
Le Monde? I don't know what that says.
This is a Euro X board game. What does Euro X mean? Oh, a 4X game. Okay. Anyway, this is from Meeple BR, and it's coming, but it's being distributed through Portal.
Is this being distributed in English through Portal? Do you know?
No, but I know that Portal has it. I'm assuming so.
Because I know that they publish many things and reprint many things, not in English, in Polish and in maybe other languages. So I don't know.
Yeah, but that's not Polish in the cover there, is it?
I don't know. There's no writing that would be
the word
language.
Imperial.
I guess so. Yeah. I like the cover a lot. I like the art style quite a bit. I don't know if I would like this game.
Says it's 100 minutes. I don't know what to think of this one. It's that cover just it reminds me of something else, but I don't know what it's reminding me of.
Oh, like Civ
also,
type games?
Huh?
It looks like Civ type games, you know?
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. It looks like one of the leaders of Civ 6, which I've been playing, who's taunting me, and I'm going to nuke him. Actually, I almost never use nukes.
But you can use nukes in Civilization video games?
Yeah.
I've never played Civ
Oh,
games.
you can drop nukes. But usually, they're really bad for the environment, and the world tends to turn against you.
Okay, of course.
The world hates me right now anyway, because I killed off an entire civilization.
What's wrong with you?
They started it.
Okay, well, there we go.
All right. Crusaders. So Crusaders originally came from Tasty Minstrel Games, has been picked up by Renegade, along with the very hard to get expansion Divine Influence, which I don't think I've even played.
I don't think I've ever seen that expansion. That was very rare, I guess. I've seen Crusaders Thy Will Be Done, but I've never seen that.
Have you played it?
No.
You might like it. It's a very light game.
Okay.
Not very light, but I mean it's pretty. What I mean to say is even you could get it.
So it's very light, is what you're saying.
No, it's not that light. But it is it was one of those games that came out in a deluxeified version and stuff, and I think that's the version that Renegade's going to be doing. I don't know. Maybe they just pressed the button and reprinted it, because that's what it looks like, and then just put the Renegade logo on it.
Sure, yeah. Cool.
So that's Q3. Village Rails. Man, I love Osprey games. I'm not sure I'm loving how this game looks. And I also don't know if I like the tagline. I think Chris likes it.
Matthew Dunstan and Brett J. Gilbert, huh?
You do love those designers.
I tend to. I did just review a game of theirs I disliked quite a bit. But this does not look like their usual design. Village
wait.
Rails, a game of locomotives and local motives. Chris, he likes that because of the pun.
I'm sure he does.
I don't love that cover.
Yeah, I don't
again,
either. It looks like an old game, like a game from the
purpose,
80s.
too. It's clearly they're doing that on purpose, making it look like that way on purpose. And I guess nostalgia is part of that.
Anyway, you're connecting villages together through England, connecting stations and farmhands, placing signals and sidings, make the best railroad system.
I would play this, probably. I doubt it would be something outside my comfort zone from these guys, from these designers.
Yeah.
I'm into it. I'll try it, even with that cover.
All right, 25th Century has Cryptid Cafe. You know, for me, not even knowing what this word meant 2 years ago.
To suddenly it's in every game?
It's definitely a thing now. Cryptids, the...
Oh, you meant that. I thought you meant cafe.
Shut up, man. All right, anyway, this game here, you're in charge of a normal cafe that's run by a Sasquatch. And cryptid clienteles are coming in. 25th Century is one of those companies I'm watching these days.
I agree.
I just played a roll and write from them that I really enjoyed. I don't love everything that they've done, but they're putting effort into it. For a small company, their games look really good. They're both bringing out new things and bringing back classic games.
Yep.
So keep an eye on them.
I'm there with you. This looks cute.
That's what happens when you're several centuries ahead, though.
Yeah, I get it. 25th, yeah.
All right. In the clamoring of IPs.
When am I finally going to get a Rear Window board game? I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. And then I died. And then I came back to life and kept waiting. Rear Window, really? This is from like the late 50s, right? I mean...
Yeah, I guess this definitely feels like a target audience, right?
No, those people are deceased.
No.
What audience?
No, I meant for people who shop at Target. Old people shopping at Target.
Oh, boy.
This is definitely for that group.
I guess so, Tom. Who else would it be?
I mean, this is a very classic movie. It's too. This is like, I find these movies stressful.
Why?
Because when you're like looking.
The aspect ratio.
No, it's because he's looking at the guy, and so the guy looks at you, and you're like, ah! He knows.
Have you seen Rear Window?
I've seen parts of it.
Rear Window is pretty good. But these movies are very, very old. I mean, and this is a strange one.
Next, Vertigo.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it might be good, and it does sound like they are leaning into the theme. They're doing, they're trying to really make a game that ties into Rear Window and what happens in the movie. Just talk about having to get over a hump to play this game. For me, personally. Maybe somebody out there is like, really, truly, finally, they made something like this. I just don't, I don't know.
All right, let's take a look at something I'm not very excited about, and that's Remix. So this is from WizKids. This is not the only Marvel game they're doing. I think they're doing a couple other Marvel games too, but like I said, we'll find out more after Gamma. We'll see the press releases. This here is based on Fantasy Realms and looks like it encompasses much of the Marvel Universe because it's mostly, the Avengers there in the cover, but they do have either Jean Grey or Hope Summers, I'm not sure, but one of the X-Men in the top center and Wolverine down in the corner. So they must have license to the whole universe.
Yeah.
This is based on Fantasy Realms. I'm a little worried because I played the Star Trek Fantasy Realms, did not like it at all. They mess with it too much.
But you do like Fantasy Realms. Fantasy Realms is a really fun game, yeah.
I also don't think fantasy. I said that I've always complained Fantasy Realms. Well, first of all, the name is Fantasy Realms.
Yes.
It's a very generic, boring theme.
It's almost as bad as Fantasy Commander.
Yeah.
Or whatever that was.
But
yeah.
I don't think a Marvel theme is going to juice it up. I mean, it may be easier to get to the table. I hope that they did not do the Star Trek. I hope this is closer to the original one. And I do know that the cards have a base point value in this one, which Star Trek they did not.
Okay, yeah, so Fantasy Realms did that.
Yes, but Star Trek there was no base value. It was all bonuses at the bottom. And I dislike that because the base value gives you an instant idea of the value of the card.
Right. Hey, I'm curious. I do like this theme. Fantasy Realms is very abstracted of a game anyway. It's just really combining cards and trying to get synergies going, building up a hand of cards. And you're looking at some character, a king, whatever, an assassin. It doesn't matter. You know, it's generic fantasy. This will hopefully liven it up a little bit if I've got like Spider-Man and he works together well with Hawkeye and whatever. That's neat. I like this theme a lot, even if it is the pasted on. I'm okay with that. I'm curious about this one, Tom.
I am, but I tell you what, I love Marvel, and I'm starting to think it's a very saturated market, and obviously Marvel says yes to anyone who wants the license.
Apparently, man. Apparently. I'm thinking of my 20 questions game. If I slap Marvel on that baby is fixed.
We got to pick some obscure character from Marvel. Howard the Duck, 20 questions. All right. Parks has an expansion coming. It's Wildlife, it's called. So this is coming out this summer. It's going to have all new artwork from that 59 Parks print series, including the newest National Park Edition, New River Gorge. I didn't know there was a new national park.
I don't know what that is.
Ernest is come in and slap me and be like, you should have known.
Don't you know where that is?
One of the guys in our gaming group is one of the rangers here from the Everglades.
Yep.
One of the top rangers.
Mm-hmm. They call him Ranger Rick.
Ranger Ernest, actually.
Oh, his middle name is Rick. Ernest Rick Gluvendale.
I used to read Ranger Rick magazine.
I don't know what Ranger Rick is.
Anyway, this works with both the base game and there's an expansion already out for the game called Nightfall.
Yeah, Nightfall is great. Wildlife seems neat. I had actually seen the cover, but I hadn't seen that secondary image. With new trails, which is good. I guess whatever the new wildlife sightings thing is, it just looks like pictures.
Are those cards bending?
No, they are tiles that are arrow-shaped.
I see. Okay.
And then new...
Oh, that's right.
You played, right?
I'm getting this mixed up with Trails.
The little one. No,
yes.
no, yeah. I'm excited. I like this game a lot.
All right, Catan, Dawn of Humankind is coming from Catan, the studios. This is similar, they say, to Settlers of the Stone Age. I don't know if you ever played that one. Or if you played any of those. They made Roman ones.
Yeah. It's been a solid decade and a half since I came out.
It has been, but I don't mind these. If you never played one of these Catan games, there's a set board usually, and I'm making assumptions here, but if they're talking about it in these lines, there's a big set board. It's huge compared to a normal grid, and you're building out your little roads and things, but sometimes where you build the road matters. Sometimes you have a moving piece. There was one in Settlers Catan America, I forget. There's almost like a pickup and delivery type aspect to it. So these can be fun. I think they use Catan and add more to it. So this is not an expansion. It is a full game.
I like that cover.
All right, then we have Ares Expedition. There are 3 expansions coming for it because Kickstarter and money. Really, I like Ares Expedition. I think it's very fun. It's a mix of Race for the Galaxy and Terraforming Mars. I never sat around thinking, I wish there was 3 expansions for it. But from what I understand, so the 3 expansions are
Discovery, Foundations, and Crisis?
Yeah. Okay. Crisis is a co-op expansion, turning the game into a co-op version. Okay, you're repairing Mars after a natural disaster. Discovery adds more stuff. Awards, milestones, upgradable phase cards. Now that sounds interesting.
Upgradable phase cards. Okay, that's interesting.
I would really like that. Like, I can play this card and it does something better for me.
I'm surprised that none of these Puerto Rico role selection games have done that I can think of.
Concordia slightly has that.
Yeah, maybe. Okay.
And then Foundations adds more components, allowing up to 6 to play. That's already my least favorite of the 3. Foundation has a larger score track board. I love this. This is where they're like, we're adding a 4th metric. There's infrastructure, so there's something else to work on, and we're adding the board that everyone complained about, and we're fixing it. But I really like the one with extra stuff. The other 2 just do not sound very interesting to me. They don't. This is coming to Kickstarter, and it's going to make $1 gazillion.
I do wonder if that's the final cover, because they no longer mention Terraforming Mars. It just says Ares Expeditions.
That's true. I think they're trying to break away from that name.
Yeah. Okay.
Alrighty. So this is a picture I found online from Philip Dubarry. talking about Steve Jackson showed this off at the Gamma Trade Show, and that's Pathfinder Revolution. I'm really excited about this.
Revolution, like the old Revolution game?
Yeah, but with the Pathfinder theme and some other changes made to it.
And a roll and write now, it looks like. That really looks like a roll and write.
I know it looks like a roll and write, but that actually is a board. Because see the little
giant board.
See the little player board.
The little white cubes.
But that's where you put cubes. It was just like the original game.
Maybe my brain has now played so many roll and writes that when I look at that, I think I'm supposed to put little check marks in those.
I'm assuming that's two sides of the same board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you never played Revolution, it's an area control game, but it's done through a very involved rock, paper, scissors.
It's like a simultaneous bidding game in which you would bid power, but you sometimes could bid swords instead of gold.
Yeah, you can use force or you can use blackmail.
Yeah.
And if you look at that little board there, it shows you some characters, those are the 16 characters that you're influencing. Some can only be bribed. If it shows black, that means you can blackmail them. If it shows red, you can use force on them.
Intimidate them.
Intimidate them. But force always beats blackmail. Blackmail always beats bribery.
Right.
And then if you put the... So there,
I know you liked it. I mean,
I really like this game.
It.
I really do, but I thought it was very, very bland looking. Sure. This is better looking. Pathfinder's not a bad theme to throw on this.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm surprised they're not picking a specific place.
Maybe they do. Maybe the when you read the lore, it tells you. Yeah, like I don't know as much about Pathfinder lore. Like Waterdeep. I know what that is.
Baldur's Gate, baby.
Also D&D.
What about, oh, you're right. What about Legend of Drizzt?
No, there's that other, what's the other, I'm just going by video games, right?
There's that map, seen that map that shows you like Baldur's Gate, Waterdeep, Black Isle, or whatever. I'm
saying that stuff is really in your head.
I wonder if these guys, Pathfinder must have places like that. I just can't think.
Anytime I played Pathfinder, I made up everything, so... Okay. All right, and last piece of news. GameFound. This was announced a few weeks ago, and this will come up in our Kickstarter thing, but a couple things with GameFound. First of all, they're about to open the platform to everybody. Before, they were kind of picking and choosing and testing out the system and everything. Now anybody can come, and the companies are coming. So we mentioned this the other day, that there was... what was the company on there? It's right there. It's that Oak. That's...
Game Brewer.
Red Raven's going with Sleeping Gods. That's a big company to come.
25th Century.
25th Century's going
Raw,
over.
That gorgeous looking reprint of Raw.
And
then of course Cyanide and Happiness or whatever they're called, right?
Yeah, actually,
that's a big one.
I don't really care about their games, but them coming too. This is a big deal. The war is heating up, and I think this will make Kickstarter better. Because Kickstarter will say, well, we got to fight back against this because gaming is by far their #1 category.
Sure.
So
it's a lot of neat stuff coming. That Oak game is actually live now. We covered it yesterday in Crowdsurfing. And then, lots coming. You can already also look at previews of these, and they'll have a countdown in days and hours for when they go live. So you can mess around in there already. Yeah, it's a whole bunch of good-looking things. I'm excited. That Sleeping Gods is a standalone sequel.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Ryan Lockett does not sleep. Not a human.
I'm excited about it.
You heard it here first.
He's a robot. Cylon! All right, that's the news. Let's keep going.
Hey, it's Oliver, and today I'm going to be talking about a very special game to me. And I filmed an unboxing video for this game, and it got a ton of views. It's my most viewed video on my YouTube channel. And, well, since I'm a teenager, I love watching YouTube. So, this game was actually made by a creator or a YouTuber that I really love. And the YouTuber that made it is Buns Out, and he made a game called Cafe Chaos. This game is a food fighting, programming, and you're playing like 3 games of rock, paper, scissors. And it's super intense, but that's what makes it fun. And there's a variety of characters that all have special abilities, and a lot of them tie in with some of the stories that he tells on his channel, and along with a few other YouTubers too. And also, a funny thing is that whoever is the least messy or has the least splat tokens win. So I just think that's really funny, and that's a really creative part of the game. And you can get this game pretty cheap at Target. But if you want to get the fancy bento box version like I have, you will have to go on the Odd Ones Out website and get the game. But it's super worth it because you get this awesome gold figurine. I can see myself in it. And I just got super excited about it on my unboxing video. I don't know why, but it was so cool. And right now, this game is my favorite board game. And you know what? That settles it. Have an awesome breakfast.
Assalamu alaikum. One of the things that I don't like about Marvel Champions is that even though this is set in a very thematic universe, the storyline that it presents to the gamers or the stories that come out of the game are not very thematic at all, or stick to comic book like storylines. The schemes of the main bad guys do have some kind of story, but they don't interlink very well, and there is no grand finale of the game. So if you're missing that kind of story in the game, then why not check out the story mode for season 1, which is the core box of the game, which I have made, which encompasses around 6 episodes for the game. So each villain that comes in the game, there are 3 villains, you will get to play twice, but with a little bit variety of how you're going to set. And the game, this campaign is going to give you guideline on how to set up those decks, which characters to play, so that you get a more well-rounded or more versatile kind of experience, especially if you're starting the game for the very first time. So if you want a little bit of story, a little bit of campaign in your game, plus some achievements to unlock, then get this story mode from the BGG file section of Marvel Champions. Happy gaming!
Hey folks, Jeff with Tabletop Toolbox here, taking another look at my top 10 things and stuff from 2021. Now I've got a double feature planned here for today, so I'm gonna get right to it. My number 8 is gaming events. Now part of this is the local meetup groups that got back into the swing of things at the end of last summer. I also got to go to PAX Unplugged last year for the first time, not only there, but my first gaming convention ever, and it was a surreal experience. I just could not believe how big that space was, how big that event was. Also went to the Dice Tower Retreat, which I may be talking about a little more later on. I also went to a small local event called RiverCon, named after the James River here in Richmond. A little bit more of a retreat itself, and I'm really looking forward to the next RiverCon scheduled for February. Now my number 7 is a bit more abstract, and that is teaching games. As I've continued to seek out some of the bigger games of the hobby, I've tried to take a much more focused approach at how I teach games. And I've taught a couple big ones this year, from On Mars, Star Trek Ascendancy, Eclipse Second Dawn, and even Vindication to Mr. Delisio at the Dice Tower Retreat. And that made one of his top 5 experiences of last year, and I appreciate that, Mike. That was pretty cool. There's a lot of resources online on how to teach games, even Board Game Opinions did a whole series about teaching games on Board Game Breakfast last year. But there's just one tip I'd like to give. Obviously, when we're teaching games, the idea is to get everyone around the table to understand what we're doing. If you get done teaching a game and someone's sitting there going, I just have no idea. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what to do. Then you really haven't done them any favors. But there's another avenue, another angle to it, I think, and that is getting people immersed into the experience. It's one thing to just teach the rules, but it's another thing to teach the game. So you're not just rolling dice, you're sending Vikings into battle. You're not just moving a worker, you're sending a liaison off to negotiate a trade. And if you can build that experience, if you can connect the theme to the mechanisms, then everyone's going to have a much more interactive experience with the game. And you may take someone who really just wasn't all that interested to begin with into a much more engaged player. And I think that's really key. That's all I've got for today. I've got a couple more of these coming up. I'll see you soon. Cheers.
All right, don't forget, Jack Vassar Memorial Fund auction is live. bully publishers into putting stuff up on it. Not bully, and bug publishers, I guess is a better word. Not threaten. Hey, but put up, you got some games you want to get rid of, you got a Kickstarter, and you read a review, and you're like, I want to get rid of this Kickstarter. Consider donating and helping people in need. So check out the Jack Vass Memorial Fund. When we're done with this, we'll put a link in the description of this video so you can go directly there. But you can find it if you go to our Facebook group, Dice Tower Facebook group, and on Board Game Geek, you'll see it there.
Yep.
Anyway, once again, sorry about our technical difficulties, but hey, we're able to do it. We got backups upon backups. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassal. Before you get to say your name, we'll be back at 2 to do our most anticipated games of this year. Are you ready for that? You're not ready for that. Anyway, until next time, I'm Tom Vassal. And that's it.
We'll see you at 2, everybody. I'm Z Garcia. Goodbye.